All right, I'm getting everything shared out, getting my ingredients measured out, and we are about to get cooking. Oh yeah, my recipes would be good to have. Let me get this put out real quick. All right, the oven is preheating. All right. Oven is preheating. Got my ingredients here together and ready to go, and we're gonna get underway. Good afternoon. Hello. Excuse me, this is Joel Bishop, your Student Activity Coordinator for Southern Crescent Technical College. Um, changing things up a little bit and coming to you live from my kitchen. I apologize that the lighting for my face isn't exactly the best. Um, Unfortunately, I don't exactly have the best setup to do this. House was built about maybe 60 years ago, and it's not really that common to build a house thinking about doing a cooking show in there. Let me get one moment, and I will see if I can get some light to shed on, like to shine on me and show my face a little bit better because I know this glare behind me is not that great. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Yeah. All right, let's see if this works for me. Am I going to regret that I didn't get makeup? All right. That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. Gonna be in my eyes, but we'll be fine. All right. So today I'm gonna be doing a little bit of cooking, showing y'all and sharing with y'all a few different simple recipes that I've kind of been doing and cooking with and using since we've kind of been at home over these past month and a half, these past 7 weeks. Um, because you know you can go out and do your grocery shopping once a week, once every other week, but sometimes you might end up just not quite getting enough or thinking that you got enough and realize that it didn't quite go so far because everybody's been home a lot more. And I know that while things are opening up and getting a little bit more closer to some semblance of normalcy as things continue, um, personally with me, I know I'm still doing a lot more cooking at home. I've always done a lot of cooking at home, but I'll do curbside pickup every now and then. But this has kind of been a good opportunity for me to experiment and try some things out around the kitchen and mess with some recipes that I've never done before and enjoy it. Uh, so if you hear any background noise today, it's more than likely going to be my live studio audience, aka the cat and dog running around. Um, but that'll be all right. If anybody has any questions or if you'd like to chat, make sure all you got to do is chat if you're watching on YouTube or comment if you're watching on Facebook. All of your messages will come in. I'm not going to be able to type because I'm going to have food hands going on here in a moment. But and otherwise, feel free to hang out, enjoy yourself, and give a little company here and there. Excuse me. So as we hear the oven go off, getting preheated, let's get started. I'll share these recipes here after the live stream, in case you want to make them at home, or if you want, I'll be walking you through them and telling you all the whole recipe while I'm cooking. What we're going to do first and foremost here is we're going to get the oven baking and we're going to make some simple 2 ingredient bagels. Um, And yeah, it might sound too good to believe, but you better believe it. There's only 2 ingredients in this recipe. It is our flour, self-rising flour, which I've already measured out, and Greek yogurt. um, uh, just plain old Greek yogurt. I have non-fat. You can use full fat. It's really your preference. I think the recipe suggests to use full fat, but non-fat is what Kroger gave me on my pickup order, so I've made it with this already, and that'll be fine. If you wanted to, you could probably use. I actually plan to experiment with some honey yogurt and see if I can make some like honey oat bagels. But today, I'm just gonna make some plain bagels, and we start out. I've got my dry ingredients measured out. No, sorry, dog. I have my dry ingredients measured out right here. And we're starting out with 1 3/4 of a cup of self-rising flour. If you don't have self-rising flour, that is just fine. You can always make your own self-rising flour by taking for every cup of all-purpose flour that you use in place of self-rising flour, you just add a teaspoon and a half of excuse me, baking powder, and about 1/4 to a half teaspoon of salt, depending on your preference. Because the self-rising flour already has your baking powder and it already has your salt in there. And if you don't put the salt in, your bagels might turn out a little bit bland. So, like I said, I've already got my flour measured out right here, 1 cup and 3/4. And to that, we're going to add 1 cup of our Greek yogurt. And while you're doing this, you want to make sure that your oven is already preheating. I have mine set to 385. That's what the excuse me, what I found works best in my oven. Keep in mind, baking is chemistry, and not every oven heats the same. So, if you're writing down the recipe, or if you print out a recipe for this, if you find that your oven doesn't quite work as well as you thought it would with the temperature, just play around with it. The next time you make a batch, make your note and see how it goes. One thing I do want to mention, and I will give credit where credit is due. I originally got this recipe from tasty.com. They had their videos and stuff going around on Facebook and other forms of social media. And they have some pretty good recipes every now and then. What I'm doing right now before I measure out my Greek yogurt is I'm just mixing the water back in, just to get it good and combined. I know some people pour that out. I don't, because I don't want to lose out on any of that goodness. I really like my Greek yogurt. I use it for smoothies. I use it for, you can add a little bit of dill to it and a little bit of lemon juice and make a really good sauce to go on like pork loin. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. So what we're doing here, I'm just measuring out 1 cup of my Greek yogurt. And one of these tubs is going to be enough to make about 2, give or take, batches of bagels like we're doing today. So that's our cup. Remember, baking is chemistry, so we want to make sure that we're being pretty close and pretty precise as we can be in our measurement. So I'm going to scrape that out of my measuring cup here. Scrape that off with the spatula, and then I'm going to put this over here in the sink. Let me put my yogurt up, and then we'll get to mixing up all the goodness. All right, just like that, we're ready to bring our dough together. And it's going to be very simple, very quick. All we're going to do with this is we're just going to mix it up and combine until we get a shaggy dough out of it. Pardon me. So we're going to make our shaggy dough, and we're just going to use the spatula here to cut it around and cut it over and mix all that flour, our self-rising flour, into the Greek yogurt. And if you're trying to write this down at home and you didn't get a pen and paper, I'll go ahead while I'm mixing this up and remind you. 1 3/4 of a cup of self-rising flour combined with 1 cup of Greek yogurt. I'm using plain Greek yogurt. If you wanted to flavor up your bagels, that's fine. That's you do you. Like one of the things I want to do is make up some like honey oat with some honey yogurt, and then toast or just roll some oats on this as it gets put into the oven. And just remember, we have our oven preheating or already preheated to 385 degrees. All right, so that's about our shaggy dough right there. And that'll work just fine, because what we're going to do from here is we're going to make sure we want to knead the dough for between 5 to 8 minutes. So I'm going to prepare my surface right here. Use a little bit of parchment paper just to keep everything nice and clean and presentable, and also to kind of help with cleanup after the fact. And usually I'll do this barehanded because your hands are your best tool. I'm going to be kneading this dough for a few minutes, but just to kind of make things easier, my hands are already clean and washed, but I'm going to wear some gloves this time to kind of help it, help keep that dough from getting stuck in my hands and make things easier when I transition from this recipe to the next. All right. So I don't need my towel right now. I'm going to hang that up. And we're just going to turn our dough out onto the parchment paper that we have on the counter. Depending on your comfort, on how you do things in your kitchen, you could do this on a cutting board. I'd suggest probably a wooden cutting board, just because I've never had luck with working on dough with a plastic cutting board. But everybody has their own way of doing things, and that's just fine. I'm going to get all that off. Use all my ingredients. Don't let anything go to waste if I don't have to. Okay. And let me got my little bag of all-purpose flour in case I need to dust the surface up a little bit and that kind of thing. I'm just going to dip my fingers in there and get a quick little dust on my gloves here just to kind of help things out. And then we're just going to play with the dough. Knead it up for about anywhere between 5 to 8 minutes. Help bring it all together. Help get that, help get those connective proteins built up and better combine the flour and the yogurt. As it starts out, it'll be really, really loose and it'll ooze a little, but as you get it kneaded out and get everything ready, it'll start to tighten up, and that's the point of kneading this dough. I need you in my life. So, how are y'all doing? I know I have 4 viewers. I think that's on YouTube. Not sure how many I have on Facebook. But if you're watching, speak up. Let me know you're there. tell me how things are going. How are you today? What's some stuff like? Have you done your own little kitchen mad science while we've been home, while we've been in this isolation and social distancing practice? Have you kind of expanded your palate, so to speak? And let me mention, I am nothing more than a home cook. I I've always loved to cook. Um, I am not professionally or officially or uh, in any other way trained to do anything in the kitchen, um, unless you count what my aunt and my mother and my grandma taught me when I was a small kid. Hey, Cheryl. Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of baking. I'm making some bagels. Um, and it's just two ingredients. All we got in here is our self-rising flour and Greek yogurt to make the bagels. And for those of you watching, if you didn't know, the really good thing about knowing how to make a bagel dough is that you can do the same thing to make soft pretzels. You might want to go a little bit more heavier on the egg wash at the end, which I'll come to that in a little bit. All right. So we have our dough getting a little bit sticky, a little tacky there. That's all right. I just want to reach into my flour here. And grab a spoon real quick. Reach in, get a little bit of flour to dust off my hands and work a little bit more, excuse me, into the dough. All right, that'll be good right there. And we just want to keep on keeping on and kneading this for about 5 minutes, give or take. I've learned a few things about stuff to try and other goodies to do in the kitchen. I've been making some bagels here. I've experimented a little bit with making lox or grab lox. That's some salt cured salmon, which the batch I made turned out amazing, and I'm actually going to be enjoying this with one of these bagels when they get out of the oven. Though, due to liability purposes, I opted not to do that recipe on live stream because it is a no cook recipe. It's instead of cooking the salmon, it cures for about 2 to 3 days, just in a salt and sugar mixture, and pretty much gets pickled from that. And it's really, really good. It's something I've grown to enjoy a lot over the past few years. All right. I need a little bit more flour here. Let's just go over. I got another grocery pickup coming out this week. There we go. You know, sometimes you might just need to flour your working surface here and there and add a little bit of flour to the dough. That's all right. We just want to make sure we get everything combined and kneaded up really well. You just want to fold it over and roll it over like Play-Doh. Play with your dough. Get it kneaded and get it ready to go. All right, I think we're about good here with getting this kneaded. I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a squeeze and turn in my hand here. Roll it out there on the flour. Excuse me, I got some water before I started this. All right. Roll it out. And there we go. Okay. So, that is our bagel dough. I'm going to set my work bowl over here in the sink. And we're going to get a knife and do that right there. Let that sit. And fold it over a little bit. And remember, the more you need, the more you work a dough like this, the more it's going to build up those connective proteins in the dough. In particular, it's going to help build up that gluten. That'll give you a good chew. That'll make it nice and chewy and delicious. And add a little bit of flavor. So, I'm going to come over here and grab my knife. And we're just going to go ahead and cut this. Typically, you can cut this into 4 or 5, give or take. I want some big chunky bagels out of this. Also, you know, we're going to go the TV magic route. And we're going to make them nice and big and pretty. Eye candy. Whoop. My recipe book getting in the way. All right. So, our 4 bagels imminent. Just like that. And if you wanted to, you can make 5. I did 5 with this over the weekend, and they weren't the biggest bagels, but you know, you do you. And the good thing about this is that it's a really quick way. You can make it from start to finish in an hour and have some fresh bread. If you like bagel sandwiches, I love bagel sandwiches. Doesn't have to be a breakfast thing. You can do it any time of day. I love it. So let me go get my pan and we'll get this going. All right. So for baking, we're just going to use a cookie sheet. I used a pizza sheet because this is a little smaller and it's going to have enough space. But you're just going to use a good baking pan or bake like whatever you'll bake in. And you want to line it with parchment paper, not wax paper, parchment paper. There is a difference. So what we're going to do here is I can slide my flour out of the way. That. All right. Like I said, I've been doing a lot. Like I do a lot of cooking already. I've been doing a lot more cooking since we've been, you know, at home. To stay at home or remote working, which is fine by me. I really love it. But also, a lot of this stuff that I've been doing cooking wise has kind of been a pantry raid. I don't know if anybody watching follows Alton Brown. He's one of those celebrity chefs on Food Network. Actually based out of Atlanta, films everything of his own show out of his studio in Atlanta. And he's been doing like weekly live streams or weekly broadcasts on YouTube of he started with Pantry Raid, just kind of everything shut down while he was filming, so I believe so he's been kind of using that as a way to clean out some of the perishable items that they had in the pantry there. There's been some really, really good stuff from that. And I've kind of been inspired by it to just clear out. So, bagels. We're going to roll the dough up into a ball. And then all we're going to do, all that's going to go together and bake together, and it's all going to eat. So we roll our dough up into a ball. And then all we want to do, stick our thumb through the middle. You might want to go through both sides and just kind of use that to, we're not even going to cut it. We're not going to roll it out and bring 2 ends together. We're just going to punch through the middle like so. And then just kind of use the ring made there, as you can see, to stretch it out. Just roll it over our fingers like so. See? You can do that stretch it out as much long or as little as you like. Just remember that this is going to swell up. It's going to grow thanks to that baking powder or that self-rising. And so that leavening is going to make the hole that we made close up a little bit. So you can expect about half of that space to get filled in as our bagels swell in the oven. So that's one bagel done. We're going to get the next bagel ready to go. In there. And remember, this has just been 2 ingredients: self-rising flour and Greek yogurt. And we made a dough out of it. So theoretically, for the same price of bagels at home or bagels from the store, you can make your own bagels at home. You want to make some sweet bagels, add a little bit of brown sugar maybe, but you can always just mix in some raisins and add some cinnamon, or any dried fruit and add some cinnamon or some nutmeg. You can season them up with some sesame seeds when you put them in the oven, if you like, if that's your bag. You want them to be a little bit more savory, you can sprinkle some onion powder in the mix into your flour, and put a little bit of minced onion around after you do the egg wash. But the possibilities are endless. Just like next time you go through the bread aisle, take a look at all the different flavors. Everything you see in the bread, of those, like the Thomas's bagels or even the store brand bagels, pretty sure you can do it at home, just like this. But also, I believe I was seeing when I was looking around and finding just different ways, because I ran out of bagels and I had lox and I wanted some cream cheese and lox. I think I saw that this might also be a Weight Watchers recipe. That's fine. It tastes fine. It tastes good. It eats good. The bagel turned out fantastic. So I really liked it, and I'm about to like these here in a little while too. All right, this is our last bagel here. Got a little bit of thin dough wall right there. So let me just go. And like I said, I'm just poking my finger through the middle and stretching the dough out around like that, giving it a spin around my finger and my thumb. And look, just like that, we got 4 bagels. Let me gonna bring this guy in a little bit on himself because he's a little oblong, but that's fine. They ain't gotta be pretty. They just gotta be tasty pretty. I ain't taking these to no family dinner or potluck. I'm just taking them to my belly. All right, let me clean up my paper right here, get my gloves off. Our oven is preheated. Like I said earlier, we got the preheat at 385 degrees. But these guys here are not quite ready for the hot box. First, this little dish right here, this is my egg wash. We can throw them in the oven as is. They're going to be plain. Just the 2 ingredient makes them plain. But egg wash is going to do 2 things for us. It's going to give us some color, going to get them nice and brown as they cook, and it's going to help any kind of flavoring or any kind of garnish or any kind of additive we want to add on there come out and stick. Otherwise, it's going to, you can try to put your seasoning or your embellishment or whatever you want to go onto your bagel. You can try to put that on there without the egg wash, and some of it might bake on, but when you take it off the pan, a lot of it's probably just going to sprinkle off. So mix it up. We got our egg wash here, which is just one egg beaten up with about a teaspoon or two of cold water put in there, just to kind of help it thin. And we're not even gonna be shy about it. We're gonna brush that sucker down with the egg wash. And I got another treat in store after this, because I ain't about to do no plain bagels. No siree. Let's not be shy. We get that egg wash all the way around, we're gonna get some good browning from this sucker out of the oven, and we want that browning. This is gonna be good to eat with our mouth, but when they come out, they're gonna be good to eat with our eyes too. How is everyone today? Don't be shy. Y'all having a good day? I've been kind of excited about this. I'll admit that two things got me really interested as a kid in doing video production, and which ultimately led to me doing live stream stuff like this. And one of them was Bill Nye, and the other was cooking shows. In particular, like I mentioned Alton Brown earlier with his pantry raid, and it ended up becoming Quarantine Kitchen over the past couple weeks. uh, he kind of, I've seen where some people refer to him as the Bill Nye of the kitchen. Hey, Ashley, don't. So, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for commenting. Feel free to critique me because you're actually trained. I'm just a home cook, having some fun. If you're just now joining, I'm getting my egg wash on here. These are my 2 ingredient bagels. It's just made with self-rising flour and Greek yogurt. And remember, if you want to try to make this at home, it's 1.75 cups of self-rising flour, 1 cup of Greek yogurt, and just mix that up till you get the shaggy dough. Then knead it all out for about 5 to 8 minutes until we get a good bit of holding together. I'll give these one more coat over. If you don't have self-rising flour, all you got to do is take a little bit of, for every cup of all-purpose flour that you use, just put in a teaspoon or teaspoon and a half, sorry, of baking powder, and about 1/4 teaspoon to a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Excuse me. Make sure that everything's good. All right, that's our egg wash on. I'm done with my basting brush, and there are our bagels. These are ready to go in the oven as is, but I have one more little trick up my sleeve. You can see from the light. This is some everything seasoning, and it's Walmart brand. That's fine. It's what I found. It's what I got. What all is in everything seasoning? Everything. Sesame seeds, salt, dehydrated garlic, onion, black sesame seeds, and poppy seeds. And boy, howdy, is this good. So I'm just going to give these guys a good sprinkle of everything seasoning. Once again, that egg wash is what's going to help everything stick on there and stay together. And as you can kind of see, since I put these down, they've kind of swollen a little bit just from being out. That's our baking powder doing its work and the self-rising flour. We've already got the gaps, the holes of the donuts filling in a little bit. So, as you see, I'll show this to the, where's my angle? There. All right, so we got our bagels ready to go, coated up with everything, and we're gonna pop these in the hot box for about 30 minutes. We're gonna pop them in the hot box for 30 minutes, and we're going to let them, we're gonna look in and we're gonna give them a turn about halfway through. Excuse me. So let me clean this up and hey Google, set a timer for 15 minutes.
Sure, 15 minutes. Starting now.
Bet you didn't know I had an assistant. Where did my no? I don't know where my white rags went. Give me 1 second while I clean up, and I will be right back. Come on. There we go. Be right back. There we go. All right. So, off to recipe number 2. The next thing that we're going to be doing is I'm going to be making a lemon lime pie. No bake even. Once again, this is something that can be really, really simple, and as simple as only using 3 ingredients. 4 ingredients. But this can be a key lime pie with just 3. With those 3 being lemon juice or key lime juice, sweetened condensed milk, and our pie crust. So the pie crust for this is going to be really simple. It's just a graham cracker crust. And you can just use a counter, a graham cracker crust that you pick up off the shelf at the grocery store. I didn't have a graham cracker crust, and like I mentioned earlier, this has kind of been me doing some pantry raid recipes throughout the time of being, socially distant and quarantined. So I made my own graham cracker crust, and that itself was only 3 ingredients. Was it a third of a cup of sugar, um, a cup and a half of graham crackers, which came from about 6 or 7 crackers. Pardon me, and 6 tablespoons of butter. Just melt the butter, run everything to run all your crumbs and sugar through the food processor. Combine the butter in there in the food processor, press it all out in the pie pan, and then bake it at 375 for about 7 to 8 minutes. And then it turns out golden brown and delicious and ready to get filled with goodness. So, what we're going to do first, I'm going to measure out our juice. Don't, like I said, pantry raid banking. So I don't exactly have everything, or I don't have lime juice to go all the way through because I've been cooking with lime juice when I've been making some tacos and other stuff like that over the past few weeks. So we're going to split. This recipe calls for a half a cup of juice. So I'm going to use a quarter cup of lime juice and a quarter cup of lemon juice. And I know that these measuring cups aren't what you should be using to measure liquid. I'm going to sneak and get away with it because this is what I have. I had one of my liquid measuring cups break on me since we've been out, and I haven't been able to go and replace it. So until then, this will do. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to measure out a quarter of a cup of my lime juice, just like that. Pour it into the bowl. Got a little bit there, but I can't use all of it because I've got other recipes that I've got on my menu for home this week that I'm going to be using the lime juice for. All right. And then the lemon juice, we're going to do a quarter cup of the lemon juice. And I know I said 3 ingredients or less. I got in a technicality. Juice is 1 ingredient. Sweetened condensed milk is 1 ingredient. Pie crust is 1 ingredient. So, there's our juice, and I'm going to get those out of the way. And then to that, we're adding 2 cans. 2 cans of sweetened condensed milk. All right. We'll get that. Put that over there. Get rinsed out and ready to go for recycling, because we recycle in this house. And number 2. So, to our half cup of juice, we put in our 2 cups of sweetened condensed milk. And like I said, this is going to be a no-bake recipe. The only thing that was baked was the graham cracker crust, and that's only because I didn't have graham cracker crust. And I didn't feel like waking up before work to go to the grocery store this morning, but I also really wanted to keep lemon lime pie. Similarly, you can make this as a straight up key lime pie just by using key lime juice. I'm totally phoning it in, but also working with the Pantry Raid theme of using ingredients that I already have in the refrigerator, which in this case is the lemon juice and the lime juice from the bottle. If you want fresh squeeze, that will definitely give you more flavor. It'll give you a bit more of a tart bite. It'll be amazing, and it will be worth the effort. You just want to remember that you need about a half cup of that juice. And you can split the juice between lemon juice or lime juice. And continuing with my recipe credit, this is a hand-me-down recipe that I got from my mama. That over there to rinse out and clean out. And then add can number 2. So we're just going to be mixing this stuff up and getting it in there and ready to go. Those of you that are watching, if you're a Southern Crescent Technical College student, make sure you go to our Facebook page or you check your student emails. Last week we went live with our virtual scavenger hunt, and we are in the last days. You have until noon next Tuesday, May 5th, to complete your virtual scavenger hunt. We have 15 prizes that are going to be given away at random to, excuse me, by door prize drawing to those students who have completed their scavenger hunt. So make sure you get it done, and make sure that you have followed us on Facebook. And now that we're on the YouTubes, make sure you subscribe to Southern Crescent Technical College on YouTube so that you can know when we go live and so that you can get informed about stuff like this going on. All right, so I got my condensed milk ready. Grab my towel. Let me ask my assistant, hey Google, how much time is left?
There's 5 minutes and 39 seconds remaining.
All right, 5 minutes to the halfway point. I'm waiting for it to not answer me because I think it's only like playing nice because it knows that it's on camera. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to mix up the juice and the condensed milk You can use a electric mixer if you like, if that makes it a little better for you. That's totally fine. I like the spatula. I'm doing that also to kind of avoid making a mess because I think the next thing I'm going to do is going to be a little bit more of a mess. But I digress. So we're going to mix this up. Make sure that juice is really, really well combined with the sweetened condensed milk. Just give it a good old mix. I probably should have used a whisk at least, but I'm trying to use less tools and less stuff because after I get this all made, I have to turn around and do the dishes. I have my Google Assistant over there helping out with keeping time, but it's only really effective as a timekeeper. When the day comes that I can tell it to go around and do the dishes for me and help out in the kitchen, then I'll be really, really happy. Until I live in a smart house, this is what I'm going to do. All right. So, like I said here, all we've got in this bowl is our sweetened condensed milk and our lemon and lime juice mixture. 2 cans of sweetened condensed milk, and those are 14-ounce cans. So, altogether, it is 28 ounces of sweetened condensed milk. I use Walmart brand. This is one of those recipes like some recipes when I'm making food, I'm particular about my brands. Like if I'm doing ice cream with sweetened condensed milk, I have to buy Eagle. I haven't gotten to that point with this, but I haven't made this too often. And since we don't have anything raw in there, that's good. I'm going to cheat and add just a little bit more lime juice to give it a bite. Just a splash. A little bit more splash. There we go. A little bit more lemon juice. Just a little splash right there. A little bit more splash right there. And get it a little bit more combined. I don't understand how space in my refrigerator works anymore. I just pulled those out of there. I couldn't find where they went. I knew where they went, but the space wasn't there. All right. Get our new juice mixed in here and combined. There we go. Now, taste and see. There we go. Good. Heart. That little bit of sour you can feel in your cheeks. That's a good bit of bite right there. All right. So, we got our crust here. See if I can save some resources and reuse this Crescent seal wrap. Like I said, this is something that I've always had with a store crust. Unfortunately, I didn't have a store crust. Entry raid mode, activate. So I made this with graham crackers. Well, I have to confess, it's not just graham crackers. I used a graham cracker crust recipe, which was a cup and a half of graham crackers, pure, beaten up in the food processor until it's nothing but powdery crumbs. a third of a cup of sugar, and 6 tablespoons of butter. I had enough graham crackers to make a cup of crumbs. Hey Google, stop. And since I only had enough to make a cup of crumbs, um, I did a little bit of research and I actually rounded out this crust with some Ritz butter crackers. Uh, about, what was it, 6 or 7 crackers made it, gave me that extra half cup. It smells and looks delicious. Um, like the crust alone is making my mouth water right now. But I'm really excited about how buttery that this is going to more than likely taste, that it should taste after it is ready. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna, oh yeah, that mixture right there is already thickening up. So we're just gonna pour it in, fill up that pie crust, just like that. And after I get this scraped out, I'm going to go check on my bagels. All right. Perfect. Give me one moment. I'll be right back. All right. All right. Let me give my bagels a quick twist. Oh man, these things are gonna be big. One of them's not gonna last after it gets out of the oven because I'm already feeling a snack. Perfect. And they are halfway done. So I put my pot holders back up. Check our timer. Cool. And so that was 15 minutes. We're gonna make up a little bit of buffer time. So hey Google, set a timer for 13 minutes.
Okay, 13 minutes. Starting now.
Google is only behaving because I'm on camera. All right, so we've got our filling put in there, put into the crust, and voila, that's all. We just need to let it go sit in the refrigerator. Try to hold it tight over so it doesn't sink too much onto your pie. If it does, that's all right. Whoever goes to cut it is going to get that goodness off of the plastic anyway. So this is a refrigerator pie. And all we have to do, stick it in the fridge, let it sit for 1.5 to 2 hours before checking on it. Make sure it gets good and firm and set. It's already starting to thicken up already just from being here, just from like sitting in the bowl before I even poured it into the crust. So I'm looking forward to a nice sweet treat in a little while. Hide it. After the pie sits and is ready, you can feel free to garnish it, add a little bit of Cool Whip, add a little bit of whipped cream, slice up some thin little pieces of lemons or limes to put on top of it and decorate it and make it look just as good to eat as it smells, as it will be. Not really warm, so it's not going to have too much of a scent to it. Oh well. All right, so we have our bagels are baking, our pie is sitting, and it's going to be ready. It's going to be ready tonight. Unfortunately, it's not going to be ready on the live stream, but that'll be all right because I'm about to get us started with the next recipe. And this is where the power tools come out. All right. So that, oh, sugar. So this is going to be fairly simple. It was, it's a drink that was making the waves around the internet and social media pretty heavily right as our COVID-19 pandemic situation got started and people were spending a lot of time at home and trying to find different things to do. But this is going to be Dalgona Coffee, so let me go grab my cup real quick. Wash off one of my spatulas that's just going to be needed. There it is. All right. All right, spatula is ready to go. Dry my hands off and get my cup. Would you like a coffee?
It is.
Do you have a cup you would like for me to use? Okay. All right, then I will get you another one of these steins. All right. So, this is Dalgona Coffee, aka whipped coffee. 1 second, real quick. All right. So, let me get some water here. Whipped coffee, once again, this is a technicality for a 3-ingredient recipe. Our 3 ingredients, and that is really the whipped part of the coffee. It's going to be served on top of milk. Oh. Okay. All right. So for the Dalgona coffee, the whipped coffee, 1 serving, we need 2 tablespoons of instant coffee. I'm using decaf because I've had way too much full calf coffee today already. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of just plain white sugar, which I keep in a mason jar for easy access and pouring for my morning coffee, for my coffee corner. Hey, dog. Now my dog realizes that I'm cooking and she wants to come over here and be under my feet. And we're going to do 2 tablespoons of just cold water. I'm going to be making 2 servings of this, 1 for myself, 1 for my girlfriend. So I'm going to be doubling up on the ingredients and making a double batch. Ish. I'm going to make mine kind of stronger and see how she thinks. See if it's any different. So we're going to do 2 tablespoons of plain white sugar per serving. I'm going to add 2 more in here for a double batch. I'm actually going to, supposed to be 2, I'm going to cut down on some of the sweetness and not do a full-on tablespoon here for that. All right. And we close close that back up. And then 4 tablespoons, because this is a double batch. For one single serving, we're going to use 2 tablespoons of instant coffee. Since I'm making 2 servings, we're going to start with 4. I want to make it a little bit extra. So we're going to do, that's 2. That's 3. And that's 4. And that's a little bit extra. All right, let me set this out of the way. And before we get started and add the water and start the timer here, let me check. Hey, Google, how much time is left?
You've got 4 minutes and 35 seconds remaining.
4 minutes left on the bagels. Let me take a peek at them real quick. Yeah, those are good. I'm going to go ahead and get this Dalgona coffee made up. Excuse me. And before I start whipping this, I'm going to get our cups ready. 1 for me, 1 for my sweetie, since I'm making a double batch. And before I get started on this, I'll walk you through. For 1 serving, you use 2 tablespoons of coffee, 2 tablespoons of regular white sugar. I think you could use other sugars. I've seen where some people have done it with brown sugar. I've seen where some people have done it with sugar in the raw. I'm just using plain white sugar because I've got some I need to get through. Hey, dog, move. And you just really want to serve it over milk. You can have ice in there if you like. Personally, I'm not a fan of having the ice. So we're going to do a little bit of ice for hers, no ice for mine. And for your milk base, just make it how you want to make it. We're going to be making these with, we're going to do half regular milk. I prefer whole milk. That'll be a good start. Might add a little bit more milk, don't know. I'm going to cheat. Put a little bit of half and half in mine, mostly just to kind of get through this part and put it in recycling. Another cheat for me, you can take your regular old coffee creamer. I like my coffee mate. Oh no, don't go there. All right, I like my coffee mate Italian sweet cream. That's me. I think it works good. I've even added like chocolate syrup to the milk for flavoring, or just made Nesquik for flavor. Oh, that turned out really good. All right, and then oat milk to round it out. Yeah, a little bit of oat milk in there. And that's going to be our milk base. Add a little bit more. Then add a little bit more regular milk. Just to kind of make it a little bit more halfy-halfy. All right. So, one thing that I've seen around a lot is what you want to do with this is you want to whip it up to either a stiff peak or a soft peak. If those are terms you're unfamiliar with, I'll get a little bit more detail going here in a little while. But take a whisk. I've seen some people do it with a fork, and you just want to beat the heck out of it and whip it up by hand. I, in the interest of time and TV magic, am going to use a tool to make this a whole lot easier. So, hey Google, stop. And just like that, we have our bagels ready to come out. I'm just going to mix up my milk base over here real quick. Pull out my bagels so that they can cool, and I can show those after I get these suckers made up. Give me one moment, please. Oh, yeah. Actually, let me show some of my nerd. Cool. So, 4 everything bagels right there. And man, those smell good. They look good. And just look how much they have swollen up from, from the rise. I'm going to break into one of these things in a little bit while I'm still on camera and just kind of show you what I really, really like to do with them. Let me set these over here to cool. Yeah. Thank you, Ashley. 10. I've seen 10 to 30 around this. I didn't. Okay, look. I'll admit I caught the wave. My girlfriend Laura actually was got the stuff and started making it. She's one of the baristas at Starbucks here in Griffin. And she was whipping it by hand for the longest time. And then I remembered that my immersion blender, which I prefer multi-purpose tools in my kitchen, so my immersion blender has a handy dandy whisk attachment. So I don't have to use, I can get a nice little power whisking going without having to break out the KitchenAid. So we've got our 4 tablespoons of sugar. Oh, matcha would be really, really good. Gosh, that. Now I got to get matcha powder. Thanks, Ashley. Hi. All right. So we got our 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And I'm going to add just a little bit more because I added a little bit more coffee. Could you imagine that matcha powder would be dynamite with some like coconut milk? I'm letting my mind wander and this is dangerous. You done started something. All right, so let me set that over here. Our bagel's cooling, and we're just going to let the power tool do the work. Alright, so we're just about there. I'm going to be... Whoop. No. Do I have any flavor to add? Almond. Almond might be good, but that might be a little much. No. Okay. I should do just like some vanilla sometime. But matcha? Oh, matcha will be killer in this. imagine though, this could be like a really, really good like non-dairy whipped cream to put on something like tiramisu. Oh, that would be amazing. All right, almost there. I'm gonna mute myself so that you're not getting deafened by the sound of this power whip. I just realized that I've been talking to myself the whole time. Sorry about that. All right, so we scoop out the whipped coffee onto our milk base. A little straw in there. We're gonna want to mix it in anyway because we got milk, this on top. It looks pretty. It looks photogenic. I'm gonna go deliver this one to. I hear you, dog. I'll take you in a second. Down. I'm gonna go deliver this one, and I'll be right back. All right. So now that we're back, I'm gonna put my tools up. Do a little bit of cleanup. And with my Dalgona coffee, I'm gonna have me a bagel. All right, so one of those 2 ingredient bagels that we made at the beginning of the stream. And grab a knife here. This is one of our everything bagels. I got the smallest one out of the batch because, let's be honest, I'm gonna have one of those big ones for breakfast in the morning. But they've been out, they've been cool, and let me just show you. Look at that. It says this is like the least pretty one, but man, is it good. And you know what else? Like I said, you can do the same thing. Roll out your dough, give it a twist, and go a little bit heavier on the egg wash. Crank up the heat for the last for an extra maybe 5-10 minutes in the oven. Crank up the heat to about 415, 425. Let them go in there and get a little bit darker, and you're gonna have yourself some pretzels out of that as well. So, we got a really good shell out of this too. I'm gonna cut into it because this fresh bagel is about to be enjoyed. Look at that. Cuts open good. Tastes really good. Actually, I got my dough seasoned up. Last time I had it a little bland. Well, thank you. And what's a bagel without some toppings? We got our everything bagel here. We got a Dalgona coffee to go with it. So I'm just gonna do the traditional, put a little smear of cream cheese on it. Just gonna pop that on there. Pop this on here. I'm not even gonna worry about toasting this bad boy. I'm gonna enjoy it fresh as is. We're just gonna put our cream cheese out and spread it on the bagel. And you can do whatever you like for your bagel. Some people like a little bit of cream cheese and honey. Some people like to dice up some green onions, or just, do what you want, man. or lady, or, you know, however you want to be, however you like to be addressed. Do it how you want to do it. Enjoy it, because that's the reason I'm doing this right now, is because it's something I enjoy. I want to put a little bit more cream cheese on that other half. Ah, and we got such a warm bagel here that it's starting to melt the cream cheese, but that's all right. Cool. All right. And then put my wrap that up. And my favorite topping for a bagel with cream cheese, especially an everything bagel, lox. This is some homemade lox that I made. Something that I've been kind of experimenting and dabbling with. Thought about doing some lox for this live stream, but one, I don't have any more salmon to do it with. Two, I'd rather be safer, because this is I mean, if you look at, depending on how you look at it, this is uncooked salmon. Gravlax, so it's not smoked. It's just been salt cured for uh, between 48 and no, yeah, 48 and 72 hours. And I just want to pile that up. I'm probably going to have enough lox here for a bagel in the morning with my coffee. But it is good. Boy, is this stuff good. Experimented. I made a couple of fillets of lox last week, and stuck one of them in the freezer. This one I pulled out. This is the freezer one, because the other one got ate in 2 days. But there we go. Pack it up, and there we go. One bagel, cream cheese, lox, and everything. And boy, howdy, does it eat good. Mm. Mm. And that everything bagel has so much garlic, it's delicious. Perfect. All right, I'm going to put my stuff back into the chill chest, and we'll be good to go. Get myself a spoon here, mix up my coffee, because it's just sitting there looking good. All right. So there we go. Mixed up, ready to go. And that is good stuff. All right. So unfortunately, I have a dog ready to go. I got through making all of my recipes faster than I thought I would. which is not a bad thing. And I have some phone calls that I need to go make and take care of for our student activities and student support services at Southern Crescent Technical College. I will be coming back and posting on the Southern Crescent Activities, SCTC Activities Facebook page. Excuse me. I'll come back and post the recipes that I used today on the SCTC Activities Facebook page so that you can make them at home if you didn't write down the ingredients, which is totally fine. Everything that we worked on today is like 3 to 4 ingredients at most, technically. But you know, it's been good. We've got our bagels made, which we got for breakfast. We got lunch. We've got dessert. Of the lemon lime pie that's going to be coming out of the fridge in about a couple of hours after it sits, and we have a nice Dalgona coffee to go with it. Excuse me. So, thank you so much to everybody who watched live. Thank you for our commenters and our chatters on YouTube and on Facebook. No pup. Dog's getting a little bit anxious. Phone's starting to ring. So I apologize for signing off a little bit early today, but I thank you for coming by. Make sure that you have followed us on Facebook and that you have subscribed to the Southern Crescent Facebook page, the Southern Crescent Technical College channel on YouTube, which is where we are going to be doing our live streaming instead of Twitch from now on. Next Tuesday from 2 until 4, we're going to be announcing the winners of our scavenger hunt giveaways, and we will be, pardon me, we will have our virtual spring fling going on. So we should have a DJ here with us live on YouTube, on Facebook, and we're just going to have a good time. So make sure that you tune in next Tuesday from 2 until 4 in the afternoon. We got 15 lucky winners that are going to be announced. We're going to be doing the drawings live on the air while we're live streaming. So until then, everybody have a great afternoon. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. If you need anything, feel free to call or email myself or any of us in Student Support Services at Southern Crescent Technical College. Until then, have a great afternoon, have a fantastic weekend, and I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Take care. I couldn't help it. It was too good. Y'all have a good one.